Here are the 6 steps to help you take control of your performance review instead of walking into these things like you probably are now, hoping they'll go well and probably feeling pretty anxious. I'm Kelly Kinnebrew, founder of MinervaCoach.com and an organizational psychologist. And when I coach people around how to find greater career success, taking charge of the performance review is top of our list. Here's how to do it. Step 1, fill your 3 skill buckets. A skill bucket is a self-inventory of your abilities and of the places that give you energy and the places that deplete your energy. Each bucket has 2, 3, or 4 skills in them, not more than 4 skills that cluster together, skill sets. Bucket 1 includes your top skills. Those are the skills you enjoy exercising. You get positive feedback around them already. They're the ones you're intrinsically motivated to get even better at and use more of your working time. Bucket 2 has in it those areas where you're just okay. You do pretty well here, and even at times you thrive and enjoy using some of these skills, but they're not your top, your most preferred places to play, the places that really give you that energy. You'll have a lot of candidate skills in your bucket 2, but choose 2, 3, or 4 sets of skills that kind of hang together that you want to focus on using more of the time in your current role. Right? These are the areas that give even more oomph to your bucket 1 skill areas. So we talked about bucket 1 and 2. Let's talk about bucket 3. Bucket 3 has in it those skills, again, or skill sets that you don't use or you rarely enjoy using, even if you have to use them. You might need to use these skills, but you dislike having to do these types of things, and you probably struggle to do them even adequately. They may be necessary to get your job done, and you probably have gotten better at them over time, but you're likely never going to be great at them. So for me, it's project management and detailed reviews of financials. My brain just doesn't naturally excel here, and I have enough self-knowledge to know that by now. Doesn't mean I don't have to do it, but I don't love doing it. I'm never going to reach a great place of skill set with that. You'll have your own list. Step 2, conduct a skills task audit. The reason for bucketing your skills is so that you can find ways to use the bucket 1 and the bucket 2 skills, those skill sets, often, and find ways of getting out of using bucket 3 skills as often as is feasible, as is reasonable for your role. All right, so step 2 involves mapping the skills that you just did in the bucket exercise to the major role responsibilities that you have now or that you're likely to have within the performance review year. Use this step to really gain clarity. Are you in a role where you're able to use most and hopefully all of your bucket 1 skills? If not, make a note of that. These are areas where you should work hard to find outlets where you can use those skills more often. Remember, these are skills or sets of skills that you either are already good at or that you believe strongly that you would be good at or even great at, and you want to find more ways to use them. Now consider the bucket 2 skills. Remember, these are either bucket 1 contenders, if you will, or they might serve as support players for your bucket 1 in some way. You're motivated to get better at them because they fuel your happy places. Which of these are finding an outlet in your current role, and where is that? Now you've dealt with bucket 1 and 2, now on to bucket 3. How often are you needing to use those bucket 3 skills that you don't like to use, your energy depletion areas? Note which ones they are and where and how often for our next step. Step 3, draft your practice and trades plan. This is a 2-part plan that can help you practice more of those bucket 1 and 2 skills and decrease the need to use those bucket 3 skills. First, if you flagged skills in your audit that don't have outlets or maybe not enough opportunity to get oxygen, then find ways to remedy this. Are there projects, are there committees, are there task forces, something that you can join, even if they're not in your own department, but especially if they are? Second, consider the people in your department and on your immediate team. There is bound to be one or two people who really excel at using your bucket 3 skills, the ones you really don't like to have to use. And then make a plan to meet with them and talk about trading potential. Can you ask for their help with parts of your role or projects that have your bucket 3? Offer to take on parts of their own projects where your bucket 1 can shine. So you're sort of swapping skills here. You'd really be quite surprised what some creative thinking like this can do to essentially this is what you're doing, is treating you and your colleagues like a skills clearinghouse to get all of the work that the group has to do done, and done with more enjoyment by everyone. Step 4, schedule a meeting with your boss. And what you do at this meeting is bring your skills mapping plan to your boss. Ask that person for thought partnering to see where you may have missed something, ways you might improve your plan, to help you use that bucket 1 as often as possible and that bucket 2 group of skills selectively in ways that serve you most and get you most energized. Share the conversations you had with your trading partners and what you agreed to experiment with for a while. And those will be experiments with those trading partners for a bit. In this meeting, align your skills plan to the organization's performance management structure. This is a critical step. This will typically include a set of competencies, maybe organizational values and behaviors that are aligned by job type, by seniority level. If you don't know what it is, ask your boss, and you should know exactly what that looks like going into a performance review year or half a year. Agree on with your boss what excellent proof of performance looks like. Make the point that not every worker should be expected to excel at every part of a role. It's just not possible. But that your plan includes trading skills, and it will address that delta. You have a team for a reason, so that together you all get the work done well and with the tapping of strengths as often as possible. Okay, the bulk of the work is behind you now. Yay, whew, just 2 more steps to front load that fantastic performance review. Step 5, ask your boss and your team for feedback. Choose 1 to 2 bucket 1 strengths and 1 or 2 bucket 2 areas that you are getting better at. You want people to notice you using these skills. Step number 6, final step, meet every 4 months with your boss to review your progress. Come with examples. Don't expect your boss to have them. You want this to feed your boss's brain with these examples that you've solicited over the past many months from your colleagues, from that step 5, asking for feedback. You will have to ask your colleagues and your boss for feedback at a regular cadence. Look for a future video on how to solicit that feedback. If your performance review is once a year, then you will have 4 meetings under your belt before your formal appraisal. And audit and trading activities are happening throughout that year. So you have a lot of data, but you're feeding and guiding and crafting that data. In this way, you will do a bunch of things. You're going to impress your boss with your proactivity. You're going to be using more of the skills you love to use and avoid being evaluated on those areas that you really dislike using, but you know you have to get somewhat better at them. Best of all, anxiety is lessened by a lot, and the chances that your review will be stellar go up dramatically. Kick butt in the new year, everyone. See the video notes to find me on LinkedIn and follow this channel for more help on how to influence effectively at work.